but have a little more gauge in a couple weeks of how they're really actually going to do.
Yeah.
All right, listen up tonight. All right, this is why we're really here tonight. We want to touch on both teams, but this is why we're really here tonight. Now, I'm going to open up and say how I feel about this topic. I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to ask a couple of questions. I may not say too much. I want you guys to just go and let me know what's going on. The WWE is super popular right now.
Yep.
Super popular right now. I fell off a little bit. My WWE knowledge goes all the way back to WWF. Ivan Putski, you know, Undertaker, Macho Man, you know, Ultimate Warrior. You know, the list goes on and on. Hulk Hogan just died, you know, recently. I mean, the guy was like, you know, an innovator. You know, it's because of him. Like, I think that wrestling was really seriously put on the map.
It became as big as it was. It became more than just a territory thing. It became a national thing.
Absolutely. And the way, and I'm looking at some of these guys now that you guys have brought up to me, and it's like, it's a business. It's a family business.
Yeah.
Wrestling. And you know, it was really evident back then. It's always been, but even now, like, I don't even know some of these guys, like Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Like, you're going to tell me all about these guys in a couple of minutes, but it's like, if you're bred into that job or into that family, it's like, you're going to be a wrestler. You know, it's like, you know, you got the, you know, Paul Orndorff, you got Bob Orton and his family, You got Vince McMahon, his whole family, and they're all coming back now. And it's like, I don't know. I lost track of wrestling probably around 2000, probably 4 or 5. I was big on Raw, SmackDown. I used to watch them all. But now, like I said, I'm going to leave it up to you guys to let me know what is going on now. Who's the champion? Like, who you guys' favorite wrestlers are? And first, how did you get into wrestling? Like, Megley, you're a big wrestling guy.
Yeah. So, I was a fan when I was younger. Not like everyone when they were like 6 or 7, but like I was like around 10ish. I became a fan probably, and I was only a fan for like 2 years, maybe. I might have had those years wrong, but I remember my first show was SummerSlam 2017. But I just got started. I started liking wrestling. I don't know. I don't remember if it was being around my cousins who kind of liked wrestling at the time, but I started like seeing some on YouTube, and I just started watching it. I became a Randy Orton fan early on, which he started getting me into wrestling probably. So I remember all the random vines about just RKOs out of nowhere. I was like, oh, this guy's so cool. And I guess I became a fan like that, but I fell out of interest in like 2017 after actually Randy Orton lost the title, because I was pissed who he lost it to. It was to Jinder Mahal, who's good wrestler, but he wasn't at that world champion level status nearly at the time, and stopped then. And
right. And then you got back in because of
so I started seeing some on TikTok like my freshman year of college. That's like 3 years ago. And it was about it was actually about the whole bloodline storyline with Roman Reigns and his family, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I started watching it more, and then I watched. I kept up with it a little, but then I watched WrestleMania 39. At the time, it was a 2-night show. I watched it, and I was like, man, I will kind of want to keep watching. And then from there, I've kept up with it since.
All right, you're like a super fan, like you watch it all the time, right? Like this, you guys went to SummerSlam, right?
Yep.
Steve, is that your first wrestling event?
Yeah, I just kind of, that was like I mean, I had watched with these guys, but I wasn't really like paying attention. I didn't really care for it too much. But then we watched that, and I was like, all right, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So since then, that was 3 weeks ago now. I've kind of tried to I watched Raw and SmackDown the last few weeks, and it's like I'm kind of like picking up on like the whole.
The stories, the characters,
and just why people like it. Because like I'm people might not know, I like reality TV.
Okay.
It's kind of like just my little like guilty pleasure. And it kind of reminds me of that, like literally, like it's literally just like storylines and drama and but with guys punch each other in the face.
And doing sick moves off the top rope.
Doing sick moves off the top rope. Like we're at SummerSlam, some guy off the cage just jumped and like just tsunami on top of the other guy. Yeah, it's cool.
All right. Cool. Jeff, what about you?
I started becoming a fan like, what was it, like January?
It was so both of you became.
Well, I mean, I watched when I was little.
I was watching that. I was getting you.
Okay. I was just saying it.
It was like January.
Yeah, it was when Raw came to Netflix to debut. It was January 6th. Yeah. Remember, I don't know if you watched before, but I think you watched January 6th, right?
Yeah, I started rewatching.
Yeah. You could get into it. You started like January 6th because me and Dylan talked about it a little, and then like I don't know. I guess it's like spread to you guys.
So Jeff, did you get into it like, these guys are talking about it? It's like, maybe I'll get into it too. Or it's like,
They were talking about it. I was like, you know what? I'll watch it.
all right.
Because him and Dylan just kept saying like, you guys should watch this. Like,
Right.
Watch this. And then we got into like WrestleMania. WrestleMania came out. The Cody Rhodes and John Cena beef was awesome.
All right.
Like just now at SummerSlam.
You did you watch when John Cena turned heel?
Yeah.
Were you watching that at Elimination Chamber? That was before me.
All right, Aid, like I said, I used to watch when you were younger a little bit, but I'm just noticing now, like in the last year, you're kind of like really, really hardcore into it.
No, yeah. When I was younger, like I really had no idea what was going on, but like I watched it a little bit because of my neighbor. He showed me a bunch of YouTube videos, like you said. Like I remember watching like Mankind getting thrown off of on top of the cage, on top of the table. Like
that's it.
And
I remember
thinking,
that.
like, oh
stuff.
my god! Like I remember thinking that was like the craziest thing ever, and I say it all the time. I remember
that still is
Yeah.
crazy moment.
Yeah.
that still is insane.
Yeah.
Like I remember like I don't know. I would just see it on like you said, like TikTok or Vine. Sorry, like Randy Orton, like random Randy Orton TikTok.
This is so funny.
Obviously, like John Cena was
RKO's out
everywhere.
of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like
Cena
I
was
say it all the
always a big
time.
one.
Like I always go back to we were on vacation in Rhode Island and we were watching 2016 SummerSlam, and I guess the main event was Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton.
Talk
And at
about
the
Brock
end, like,
Lesnar.
after
definitely.
like Brock Lesnar just completely just was giving elbows to Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And like his head, he was just bashing his head in. And I remember looking at it like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
he's killing him. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Like,
I was
there
a little
bunch
scared
of
then.
blood, and
So that's
and then it just ended, and I was like, oh my god. Like,
so that
are you
leads
kidding
me. That kind of leads me to a next question of mine. Actually, like obviously you guys know. Look, I'm gonna say it's fake, but it's not fake. I mean, listen, these guys are awesome athletes.
Predetermined.
It's predetermined, and these guys are beating the shit out of their bodies. I understand that. But at what point, Michael? At what point did you realize that it's predetermined?
That was when that was when I was first started watching. I was like maybe like 11 or so. I was like, oh, like, but like I still had like some belief to a
Mhm.
degree. I was like, kind of like trying to just almost like this. Like now, like I suspend my disbelief to just like enjoy everything, all the
Right.
stupid
Yeah.
stuff. But like
Okay.
then I was like really trying to suspend my belief because I wanted it to be real as
Right.
a kid. And then
They tried to back in the day. They tried to hide the fact. They hide the fact
Yeah.
so much that
yeah,
you guys. You remember Geraldo Rivera? You guys probably have no idea who Geraldo Rivera is. Geraldo Rivera was a reporter back in the day. He's just a troublemaker reporter, and he was just whatever. But he was saying that wrestling was fake, and he was on this rant about it. So he's interviewing Dr. D. David Schultz, and Dr. D. David Schultz takes a razor and starts cutting his head open. And he picks up Geraldo Rivera and he throws him on the ground. And says, "You think this is fake now?" And he literally beats the shit out of him like on a camera. So at that point in time, they're trying so hard to cover the fact that it was fake that it went a little crazy, where these reporters started getting beat up. So around that time is when they started to like putting the skits together and kind of like one of the craziest things I've ever seen in wrestling is when Stone Cold Steve Austin drove a beer truck into the arena and started smashing beers on The Rock's head, dude. That at that point in time, I'm like, this is so awesome. Like that when I started watching Raw and SmackDown when they first started, and at that point, it's popular now, but I have to look at numbers and stuff. But wrestling back then was so popular. Like Raw and SmackDown were the #1 shows on Monday and Thursday nights. Everybody in the entire country was watching this. You had The Rock, you had Stone Cold. It was like
those guys
unbelievable.
They were bigger than wrestling. To a point in those years.
And you got
early 2000s.
and a lot of these guys now wrestling today, they come from those wrestling trees, right? I guess kind of like what's that?
We also in like 2002 you had like Hulk Hogan. I remember he returned then too, which is another big name, which is why that I'm not a fan of him personally. I mean, rest in peace, but I'm not a fan of him. But him returning, like that's a big name. Like that's elevating WWE and how much like people want to see him. I think honestly, you could say what you want about Triple H. I guess he's kind of like a shill for the company. I mean, is Vince McMahon still is he still running it from jail or something? He's not. It's the the mother company TKO who's really running it. TKO. I think they also have UFC under the umbrella, but TKO is really I believe they are the big ones calling a lot of the shots because like we have WrestleMania this year was
Okay.
in Las Vegas,
Mhm.
and they announced that it was going to be next year in New Orleans, and then they just changed it
Right.
back to Vegas. That's
Okay.
never happened. They've never gone back to back years.
Really?
Same stadium and everything.
Oh, that's
And now
Money talks.
And now
Yeah.
we saw first we saw WrestleMania expand to a 2-night show because it was just getting so big, but now we've seen other shows like SummerSlam become a 2-night show, and we might see more big PLEs in the future like Royal Rumble and Survivor Series turn into these 2-night shows because we have TKO really wanting all this money, and then also I know the Saudis are getting involved too heavy.
Really?
They want to get a WrestleMania. They have Royal Rumble next year.
Do they?
Yep.
In Saudi
They
Arabia?
they have a lot of shows in Saudi, but Royal
Hmm.
Rumble's a big one.
Okay.
And so that's
Royal Rumble's going to be in Saudi Arabia next year?
Yep.
Wow. So WrestleMania is going to be. I remember I watched the first WrestleMania in 1985, dude,
really
with Hulk Hogan and
Uh,
Mr. T and teaming up against, what was it, Paul Orndorff, and I forgot who it was. Whatever. But it was put 19,000 people were there, and I think like 1 million people watched it on pay-per-view. It was a spectacle. Like, I've
yeah.
never seen
I was
anything
just
like
about
it.
to say that.
There was so many people involved. And what's that?
Where was it?
It was in Madison Square Garden.
Really?
First one was in Madison Square Garden. Yeah, I think 19,000 people were there. But the surrounding leading up to that, because again, WrestleMania came about because it was so big, dude, that the pay-per-view money that was coming in from that was, I mean, I paid for it. That's the only way we were able to see it.
Because Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan had transformed that company and elevated it to new heights.
Yeah.
Which is what they were able to do. They made their version of the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
and then the cultivation almost of the year of WWE.
Yeah. Well, I want to get into a couple of the negative things about the WWE first. We'll talk about that after, but I want to get into you got a bunch of storylines going on.
Yeah.
Now, right? Like Cody Rhodes. He's an interesting guy to me, right? I don't know anything really about him. I know Dusty Rhodes. I know Dustin Rhodes. I know they made a mockery out of him. They made him Stardust because of the whole fact. And I understand that Dusty Rhodes had a little bit of beef with the McMahons back in the day and stuff like that. And kind of like stayed around. I guess they made a little bit of a mockery of him. But Cody Rhodes' story, like what's he going on now? Like, why is he like the number one guy right now? Why is he so popular?
So obviously you know about the whole Stardust thing, and
Yes.
he sometime after that he had left the WWE, and he created it. He co-founded, I think he co-founded something. He was a part of creating this new company, AEW, which is now like the second biggest wrestling company.
Okay.
And he grew this wrestling from the ground up with some other guys, and then he was like this. He was the big guy there, and then the fans started going against him there, and after a while his contract came up, and he left the company, and he came back to WWE in 2022, I want to say.
Okay.
I think that was WrestleMania 38, and so like people already knew him then, and fans were excited that he was coming back. WWE fans, because he already had this career in WWE before, and he was coming back, so that helped. And then you have these guys who help make him as big as he is. So he came back. He was like the mystery opponent against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
Okay.
Seth Rollins is one of the big names, and they have this whole storyline, this feud, and they had 3 matches. And Seth Rollins is like he's one of their top names, and Cody beat him all 3 times. And
Okay.
one of them, he had a torn pec. He fought with a torn pec, like actually.
Yeah.
And it was like in the Hell in a Cell.
Oh my God.
And it was this like big matchup, and that helped elevate him, and the fans started getting behind him, and he started gaining momentum, and then he won the Royal Rumble, and then fans his momentum was through the roof because you had this whole bloodline story, and you had Roman Reigns, who was this top guy,
Okay.
where it was holding the belt for like 1,300 days at the time.
Okay.
And everyone wanted to see this guy make it to the top now because of his whole story. Like he was in the WWE, and then they kind of gave him Stardust. He was like the lowest he could be. He left. He came back. He transformed himself while he was gone, and then he came back and became an even bigger star.
Okay.
And then he lost at WrestleMania, which was a big surprise to many.
Who did he lose to?
Roman Reigns.
Okay,
Roman
okay.
Reigns. This is WrestleMania 39, and
Okay.
this big thing because everyone thought that was like his. that was as big as his momentum was going to get because it was through the roof.
Mhm.
I remember watching and I remember checking Twitter and everyone was like up in flames about it.
All right.
He was just like everyone thought this was his story, this was his time, bring the belt to the family who was wrong.
Okay.
And then he had this whole redemption arc through the year. Last year, he came back, won the Royal Rumble again, and then the story became even bigger because The Rock came back into the picture.
The Rock.
And
I love The Rock, dude.
The Rock is great, but he's a part of the board of TKO. So he's got some pull to say
I'd
the
say
least.
The Rock has to
Yeah.
pull. Yeah.
And he wanted to do this big, what is a fantasy match. People have talked Roman Reigns versus The Rock, which
Okay.
they come from the same family, the same bloodline.
Yes.
And they did this whole thing where, because after Cody won the Royal Rumble, he had to choose. You get to choose who he wants to face at WrestleMania, and it was obviously Roman. Get the
Okay.
rematch, right?
Mhm.
But The Rock came in, and they did this whole thing where Cody let The Rock have the match with Roman because it was this big.
Okay.
And this was supposed to happen, The Rock versus Roman.
Okay.
And that caused so much outrage, and the fans pushed behind Cody more than ever.
Okay.
And they cheered Cody and they pushed to get Cody back in that spot because they believed that he should finish his story now.
Okay.
And basically the fans did do that.
Okay. So he's like the people's champion.
Yes.
Right? Like, I mean, The Rock is the original people's champion, but
Yeah.
Rock was
But he came and they had this, and they turned it into a great feud because The Rock came back and he turned into this new final boss character.
okay.
That was awesome. That was some of the best work of his career, honestly.
Really?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
It was just the storyline was so intense,
Mhm.
and you'd want to tune in every week to see what's up. Like one night he beat the absolute crap out of Cody Rhodes outside his tour bus, bloodied him. He was hitting him with his belt.
Yeah.
It was bad, and it was just some of the best heel work he put on because he helped elevate that too, and
right.
he made people want to root for Cody even more.
Okay.
And that ultimately it ended in Cody Rhodes winning the belt off Roman Reigns and finishing his story.
All right. So now, so Cody Rhodes is the guy right now, right? So
Yes.
who's going after him right now for the title? Like, who's either next in line or who's that? Go ahead, Steve.
Drew McIntyre.
Yes. Drew
Now,
McIntyre.
who the hell is Drew McIntyre?
Drew McIntyre
Sounds like a baseball player.
He also very similar story to Cody. They were actually a part of the same group. They were in the WWE at once together, but they both left. He left too. He went a separate way, and he transformed himself. He got jacked. He's a big guy now.
Okay.
And he transformed himself, transformed his look, and came back, and he became this big character who is now this really good heel.
Okay.
So he's good, but we don't know when this Cody Drew match is happening because Cody seems to have he has to film a Street Fighter movie.
Okay.
So I don't know if they are writing him off now or they are.
Well, but he's the champion though. How can they write him off?
Well, they usually do. Sometimes you just write him off with a little injury.
Okay.
But I don't know. We'll see because he
right.
is the champ. But
All right. Aiden, what about you, Aiden? What you like? What the storylines that are going on now? Is that your favorite storyline with Cody Rhodes, or what's drawing you? Because you're a new fan. What's drawing you to wrestling right now? Come a little closer to the mic.
Probably the Cody Rhodes storyline.
Yeah.
I'm also a big fan of CM Punk too.
CM Punk. All
I
right.
just think he's awesome. When I got back into it, what was it, January 6th?
January
I think was when they got back on Raw.
Okay.
Just because everyone else was watching.
I remember CM Punk.
Yeah. So and then
he
I
had
just got back
he had a
into it.
match with Seth Rollins that night.
Yeah, but then I remember hearing the thing that really started the first thing that I liked about it was the entrances, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I really fell in love with CM Punk's entrance.
Okay.
And I just thought it was so cool. And then
It's funny because my son, he likes to, when he hears a song, he just plays it over and over and over. What's the Living Color song, right? That's his song?
Yeah, what is it? Cult of
Cult of
Personality.
Personality. I've heard that song 1,000 times in the last couple of weeks. It's a good song.
It's a great song.
Okay. So that's CM Punk is your guy then, right?
Yeah, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes. Yeah, pretty much those two guys, my two favorite right now. I love Logan Paul. Logan Paul, he's
Right.
great in the WWE. I mean,
Let's talk about Logan Paul for a second. All right. Now, I think Logan Paul is in his element right now. Like the WWE was literally made for
I
Logan Paul.
completely agree.
Now, I also think that if his brother stops thinking that he's a boxer and think he's a real fighter, because he's really not, and he joined the WWE with his brother, that might be the biggest tag team appearance in the history of the WWE.
I just don't know if he's gonna have the same like ethic and athletic abilities. Like,
You don't think he's a
such a good heel, bro.
Logan Paul.
I think
hell yeah.
Yeah, I think
That
he
might be
but-
two of the greatest
but, like,
heels ever in wrestling.
I've heard a lot of good. I was just saying to Aiden today. I've heard a lot of good praise of Logan Paul from his trainer, former WWE wrestler Hurricane.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember.
I know Hurricane. Yeah, I remember Hurricane.
He's his trainer,
Okay.
and he says for like someone who has the network and like the wealth Logan Paul does, he works and like works so like much harder than you would think. Like
to me, like the wrestling is like secondary to. I love the shit talkers. Like the ones like Macho Man Randy Savage is the greatest shit talker ever. I mean, one of them, The Rock.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys were just like they just talked shit and they were funny. And I think if those two kids came back and all they would do was just talk shit, they're made for the WWE. Those two characters, two heels that the entire world hates. Those two kids.
Drew McIntyre is a great shit talker himself. He's big. He's a big guy. He's always like posted on like Twitter or something.
Yeah.
Like he's got some jokes where he's posted on Twitter like in a match. He's posted. He's bored at work, and then he did one at WrestleMania, I believe, or. When I don't remember what it was, he posted a photo. He was like bored at work and it was like in the middle of a match.
Oh yeah,
and like he's got this big joke with him, and he's a great shit talker around right now.
Yeah,
I was just saying to Steve because he didn't understand because Drew McIntyre came out and had a promo last night and he was basically talking shit about Cody.
All right,
and he was
I was sitting there waiting, like, where's Cody's music? And here comes Cody's music. Here it comes. And I was like, that's kind of BS. I'm like waiting to.
Yeah.
Where's this going? But then like I gotta get better. Like wait, because it's building.
All right.
Yeah.
It definitely leaves a lot to the imagination. It's a genius concept.
Yeah.
Even though it's all scripted, these guys are top of the line athletes and they're really getting hurt. But it's like you think you know what's going to happen, and then just for years and years and years, wrestling's been like this. Everybody thinks they have everything figured out, and it just completely goes the opposite way.
But you also just have these theories where you think you just know this is going to happen. It's like, yes, we thought like Seth Rollins has to be fake. I thought like he has to be faking his injury. He has to be cashing against CM Punk. But like you just don't know that is going to happen until it actually happens.
And then he comes out with crutches, and you're like,
so
oh
good.
wait, is he? And then he drops the crutches.
And then when you see it actually happen, it's like, oh my god, this is awesome.
Yeah.
One thing in wrestling is that anything could happen.
Yeah.
Like anything, like Brock Lesnar returning.
Now,
I did not see coming. I thought it could happen, but I genuinely did not think it was going to happen.
They say that I don't know what's going on with Brock Lesnar come back to WWE, but if you look at Brock Lesnar, I think Brock Lesnar, they say, is the toughest guy ever. I'm talking MMA, UFC, wrestling. He comes out there with that sword tattoo. And why do you think they brought him back? Do you think he needs money, or do you think I don't understand? Because he's an animal. Oh, get out of here! What's the connection there?
Cena and him have had a good feud themselves in the past. Like I forget the match specifically. There was one time, just Brock Lesnar just absolutely murdered John Cena.
Okay,
he like killed him. He brought him to Suplex City, suplexed him like 20-something times.
Right,
just like murdered him, and that turned into a great rivalry between them two.
Yeah,
and that is one reason why because Cena wanted him back, because this has been Cena's retirement tour, and you kind of want to see him go against his old rivals, which he has gone against Randy Orton and CM Punk, and then Brock Lesnar was always one of them, but like no one really thought it could happen. Because he's in this whole like legal situation.
What's his legal situation?
It's a Vince McMahon situation.
Yes,
he's mentioned in it
what it was.
like 40-something times.
He is. I saw that. You see the documentary?
The Vince McMahon one?
Yes. Yeah. It's pretty bad. Yeah. And I think you're right about Brock Lesnar. I think Brock Lesnar might be named in some.
I think it was like Vince McMahon would like have some of the female wrestlers like do things,
Yeah.
and then like Brock Lesnar like requested something.
One of the things was something piss related.
Something is related.
I've heard
All
of
right.
it. I've heard
He's just
that.
a freak.
Yeah.
So
But that's what's that?
no, I was just laughing at it.
But that because bringing Brock Lesnar back, I mean, all right, Triple H is the content CEO.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, when did that come about?
So it's been kind of wishy-washy because obviously Vince McMahon was the guy for a while,
Yes.
and then
forever.
he had his whole allegations and whatnot, and he kind of went out for a little, and like you saw like Triple H start to take over because he was kind of like becoming that guy, like he was slowly becoming that guy.
Okay.
He was like shadowing Vince McMahon, I believe, but
Okay.
he really came into the picture for a little bit. But Vince McMahon would always like come back, and like he always wanted to run the company his way, so he always had a lot to say. But I think really we see him start to take over in like 23, 24. That's when he like you could tell he has full control just because the change in like how the shows are being run.
Right.
Like I heard a lot of good things about the locker room. Like people were happier there, and just like WWE was just getting better in general, and it was building these better stories. It wasn't just doing stupid stuff just because Vince McMahon wanted to do stupid stuff. That night.
Those storylines back with Vince McMahon, like once it started to get really like raunchy, man.
He had some weird stuff back in the day. Some creepy stuff.
Like he talks in this Hulk Hogan documentary, and it's all new. And it says like he's the ex CEO, like he can't have his name attached to the WWE at all.
Yeah,
because there's so many lawsuits against him right now that they can't even keep track of it. Like he's old. I don't think they're gonna put him in jail, but he's definitely gonna get sued for a lot of money. And you know what's funny too is like a lot of these wrestlers too, even like the male wrestlers have suits, like sexual assault suits against him as well. You know, I mean, because I couldn't imagine like what was going on. Like, you know, there was a time period there too where a lot of these wrestlers, like it would go 100 days and one of these old wrestlers would die. Like the wrestlers were just dying like left and right because they were getting CTE or like drug abuse or something like that. You know, I mean, it was just a huge party, like, you know, wrestling it, you know. And also I watched a documentary one day called 350, and the name of the documentary is called 350. Michael, you might like it because no matter who you are, you're on the road for 350 days a year as a wrestler.
Oh, yeah. The travel for WWE especially, I've heard is very brutal.
And
Very
from what I
tough on the
understand, it doesn't
wrestlers.
matter who you are, and and if you're the more popular you are, the more you travel.
Unless you're a part-timer, and there's very few part-timers. Guys like Roman Reigns he's a part-timer because he has earned the right to be a part-timer. John Cena usually is a part-timer, but not this year because he's on his retirement run.
Okay.
And then even Logan Paul, he was I don't think he is anymore, but he was part-time for a bit because he was just he was like a celebrity wrestler in a way, but he was still this public figure. But now I believe he's turned into a full-time.
You know what I found kind of interesting about Roman Reigns too? I was looking up on
Yep.
him. Like I used to watch wrestling back in the day. He comes from that Samoan
Yes.
line.
The
I used to-
Anoa'i family.
Afa and Sika
Yep.
train him, dude.
Yep.
Like Afa and Sika were the wild Samoans back in the day. I mean, these guys and they train him. So like that Samoan line in wrestling, that bloodline is
Yep.
still pretty
The Rock,
pretty strong too, right?
Ricky Johnson,
Yeah.
the Usos currently, their brothers Solo Sikoa. It's a lot of them.
You know what?
Many more.
There's
Umaga, like
a lot of money to be involved.
MFTs. The MFTs aren't actually related.
that?
Solo is family.
What's the MFT?
MFTs are it's a faction of Solo Sikoa, who is a part of the family.
Okay.
He's one of the brothers of the Usos, Jimmy and Jay Uso.
Okay. Guys, Steve, you could talk.
Aaron Judge hit a home run.
Whatever, dude. So all right, we're gonna wrap this up in a couple minutes. I know you guys got shit to do, but what was I gonna ask you? There was like right now you got the WrestleMania was just happening in April. What's the next big thing going on in wrestling right now? Like, what's the next big event?
Well, they have like a PLE, a premium live event every month, really.
Okay.
So they got even though they had SummerSlam at the beginning of the month, they have Clash in Paris at the end of the month, which is August 31st, I believe. That's Paris event, but they have their real like next massive event is Survivor Series in November.
Okay.
And
what's kind of like the build up for that? Like, is there a storyline for that yet?
Yeah,
or-
so not yet, but they'll probably start to plan it because the whole big thing about Survivor Series is the War Games stipulation now, which is like it's like two rings like side by side and like two cages, and like they're connected, and it's like a whole like 5v5 match.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's like so like event soon after this next PLE, I believe they'll start to build to that
All right.
in September.
All right. And one more question. What do you think that they're going to do with John Cena? What's going to happen with John Cena when this whole retirement tour is over?
I think he's going to retire.
But is he going to retire? You think they're going to give him a belt? You think they're going to allow him to retire on a high note? Or he's going to go out a heel? Is he going to go out like?
So he's recently turned good face. He's going to stay that way. And I was talking to them earlier, I think he's going to go out losing his last match. It's a common thing for wrestlers to go out losing and putting over these younger talents, making them look good.
All right.
So I think he'll go out losing to a young guy like my favorites, Dominic Mysterio and Braun Breaker.
Now, Dominic Mysterio, is he
Son
from
of
Rey Mysterio?
Rey Mysterio, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a star.
Okay. He's an up and coming star. He's
he's this young guy. He actually has a match tonight, but not WWE. It's AAA, which is this Mexican wrestling company that WWE recently acquired.
okay.
They have their WrestleMania tonight, Triple Mania, and Rey Mysterio, he wrestled in this company before.
Mhm.
So like now that's a big deal, and everyone loves him there. And even though he's this big heel now, because he turned on his father at one point,
Right.
like he goes around calling him his deadbeat dad, and he's just this great character that I'm a massive fan of.
All right.
And
All right.
I actually think he is the Intercontinental Championship right now.
Okay.
I think he might win the AAA Championship tonight.
All right. Well, let's see.
I'm
Let's see if he
excited.
does. All right, guys. So we've been on for a little over an hour. Anything else you guys want to say? Steve, who do you think is going to be the champion? You think Cody Rhodes is going to continue to be the champion, or what do you think as a new watcher?
So one thing that I think is that Seth Rollins is going to hold the heavyweight title for a while because I think they're just propping him up to be like just this guy who's going to have it for a while, this big heel.
All right.
I think Cody's gonna. I don't know. I feel like something they could do is try to get him to have like more like total belts, and because he has 2 belts,
Okay.
I think, right? 2,
Yes.
Yeah.
2
Right.
belts. But like Cena has 17, so if you want him to be like this big face of the company, you might want to bump his numbers up, so he might have to lose it and win it a bunch of times.
I was
All
gonna
right.
say, like, do you see them like possibly like writing him off the movie and giving the belt to Drew? Think that could
Yeah,
happen?
I don't know because I don't know when this Drew match is happening. Like he might be getting rid of TV now, but I'm not really sure. I don't know what could happen.
What do you think, Abe? What do you think ultimately is going to happen?
With what? With Cena?
Just with John Cena in general.
Well, I think the same thing. I think he's gonna. I think Dom will ultimately. I think he's gonna lose the belt to AJ Styles,
in Clash of Paris?
and then AJ Styles will fight John Cena for the belt possibly, and then maybe John Cena wins that belt, and then John Cena will lose that belt to an up and coming star to retire
Breaker or
to Braun Breaker.
or
Yeah.
Braun Breaker.
To Braun Breaker.
What about you, Jeff? What do you think?
I think Cody's gonna have it for a while. Really? Yeah, I do.
I don't
bro.
think so.
Yeah.
I think he might win
I
it to Drew.
love
I haven't
Cody. I
seen the
love it.
episodes, but I think
But I don't think he's gonna lose it.
I don't think he
Well-
needs to have the championship.
All right.
I think he could have a couple
Exactly.
defenses, and I think he could lose it for a bit.
So yeah.
And he's still this top guy. He doesn't need to be the champion.
So if they're gonna write him off, I feel like they should like give another guy an opportunity
You give
to
it
have
to
it,
Drew?
like Drew, who's.
I would love
been
to see.
shipping.
I would love
haven't
to
seen
see
the
Drew with
episodes,
the belt. I'm a big
so,
fan.
like,
of
let
him.
him thrive with the title now, and then let Cody come and go do his thing,
You think?
and then
Another guy that I want to see have some more like title shot would be I know he's getting in Paris kind of, but LA Knight. I think he's pretty funny.
Ooh.
I really like
Oh,
LA
okay.
Knight.
Who's that?
I'm not the guy to tell you who he is. I think he's cool.
All right.
Yeah, I'll say
That's what he
that.
does.
Yeah, that's his big thing. He always like he'll say something and he'll just do like LA night, and everyone goes yeah, because he always just drops in yeah. It's like his thing, you know.
He always says it, so now everybody else says
So like he'll
Alright.
like be doing this promo on someone. He'll like say this line. And he'll be like yeah, like right in the face.
That's wrestling's always been great for that too, like with their little taglines. You know?
Yeah.
There's always been taglines through the years.
Yeah, you have Yeet. You have
But I think, like I said,
you have D-Generation X had their whole suck it thing.
Yes.
That was big back then. I know.
it was amazing. And back to Triple H for a second. Why you guys asked that question? Like a lot of these storylines, I think, are coming back. I think a lot of like a lot of these old wrestlers are coming back, probably because of Triple H. Because when Triple H was popular, that's when wrestling was just like at its craziest. Like Triple H with was it like you said, D-Generation X?
Yeah.
Let's get ready to suck it.
Yeah.
Like and all that crazy. He was part of like the craziest time in the WWE, and he probably wants to bring all that stuff back. You know, like when wrestling was in its golden years. You know, and when like the storylines were nuts. Like it got a little too crazy, but I think Triple H is maybe he's going to try and bring a lot of that back to the WWE. Maybe keep it going for a couple of years. You know, and let these young guys get a shot. You know.
Yeah, I'm a fan of his. I think the work he's been doing is good. Some things I can't complain about, like the ways a lot of like SmackDowns and Raws end. There's always matches ending in some sort of disqualification or like interference.
I've
and it's
even
like,
noticed that.
sometimes it gets a little too much. Like
3 weeks.
like it's for to build the story, but sometimes you don't need to have all the outside interference to have a good match.
Right.
I feel like even I've noticed after watching for a few weeks, like I can tell that, oh, you don't want this match to conclude now because you want to make it a bigger thing for something later.
Yeah.
So you're just going to have something gimmicky happen so that you can make it bigger later.
All right.
And
I feel like that's happened a few times at this point.
All right.
Like they did it with Seth and CM Punk and LA Knight and them. They did it with Cena, Paul, Drew McIntyre. They did they keep doing it in Cody.
there's also this thing where they want to like protect their guys. They don't want them just getting like pinned on like a Monday night. They want to like save that for like a big event like PLE. You know.
All right. Well, I think I'm all caught up on WWE with you guys, and I appreciate it.
You can watch it with us on Monday night.
I think I might.
Yeah.
I think I might watch you guys Monday night.
You
This
should.
Monday-
You
yeah,
should.
I think I will.
It'll be good. I know.
Yeah, nice.
Took off from work.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure Roman Reigns will be there. It's always great to see him. You'll probably get
All right.
something. Hopefully, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, the big names.
All right. Well, like I said, I think I'm gonna have to tune in with you guys on wrestling on Monday. All right. Anything else you guys want to put out there about wrestling? Anything that we don't know? Anything I didn't ask you? Anything you want to?
You guys have questions?
You guys have anything?
Anything, Steve? Anything like you're interested in? Any feuds you've seen that you're
Yeah.
interested in?
Man, we covered the main ones, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean the whole Cena stuff's going on.
Shield, bro.
Shield lore, yeah. That's the whole Shield is one of the big storylines that one of the like big course changing moments in WWE where between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and former WWE wrestler Dean Ambrose.
okay.
They were like this big group that came up from the developmental company NXT, and they just came and like destroyed everyone. But it ended in Seth Rollins turning heel on them. He took a chair to the back of Roman Reigns, which is known in WWE and as to the fans as the chair shot heard around the world.
Wow.
Because there was this big heel turn that no one really expected. He joined forces with the Authority at the time, which was basically this fake it was Triple H and like Stephanie McMahon. They were like running the show on screen. Like that was like their whole thing. And Seth Rollins joined and turned on them, and
All right.
that has been the catalyst for Roman Reigns' character and Seth Rollins' character, really. And that's one of the things that came full circle at WrestleMania when Cody Rhodes finished his story.
Okay.
Because there was a bunch of people came out of that match. John Cena, The Rock, The Undertaker,
Nice.
Seth Rollins, this whole thing. But it ended in Roman Reigns had a chair, and there was two men in the ring, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And 10 years after the fact, he chose to get his revenge on Seth Rollins because he hated him for what he did so much.
Nice.
Instead of hitting Cody Rhodes, and then Cody Rhodes took that chance and finished him.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, maybe we'll do this again in a couple of weeks. You know, we'll talk about wrestling again because I'm actually I'm going to watch
on
this with
digital
you on Monday night.
podcast.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, I'll be at school, but I could
Nah, we
could
could do it-
probably
we could do it,
we could get
remote.
something. I'm sure.
I want to tell you guys. I want to leave you guys with one story about how popular wrestling was back like in like 2000. or
Yeah.
We have a guy that I work with, and his name is, I'm not gonna say his name, but his nickname is SmackDown. All right. Now we call him SmackDown because he's a legendary ironworker. He literally has the belt that says the People's Champion. Now he basically turned into The Rock, like when The Rock basically was popular, right?
Yeah.
So we're construction workers in New York City, all right? There's like 100, 200 iron workers on these two jobs. We're all friends, you know. New York City is bustling. This guy would bring his belt every Friday to work. Okay, we get our checks, right? And we cash our checks. Now, there'll be about 200 iron workers in the middle of the street. Now, you know all the traffic in Manhattan, right? This guy SmackDown would come out of the job with his belt, and this other guy would come out of the other job. And we'd all jump in the middle of Broadway in Manhattan, and we'd stop traffic. And the two of them would fight like The Rock against, and he'd talk like him, and they'd have the whole shtick going to a point where the cops were even stopping traffic because it was so entertaining. There was like 200 iron workers and construction workers completely stopping traffic midday. So these two guys could fake fight in the middle of Broadway and raise a belt, and they could 1, 2, 3. And then that's how popular wrestling was back then. And I'm working with this guy right now.
I've still seen similar things now. I think you guys might have seen on social media where like they were like it was on the subway, I think, and there was just like they had like their subway mania, like WrestleMania, because it was WrestleMania season.
Awesome.
They had like their fake Jey Uso and like these other guys come out,
Yeah.
and like they did like their whole entrances and everything, and had like
Hardy
matches.
Boys like actually go out.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah,
Hardy
the Hardy
Boys,
Boys
the actual Hardy Boys did
Nice,
show up
dude.
there.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for the time tonight. Catch me up on wrestling. Steve, did you raise your hand again?
No, I just
All right, so Steve was raising his hand the whole time. So, all right, thank you guys. I appreciate it for catching me up, and we're definitely gonna do this again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Great stuff.
and you guys are going to watch UFC, right?
Yeah.
Who's winning tonight?
DDP versus Hamza. I think Dricus Duplessis is going to win that fight and retain his belt.
Aiden.
I mean, I don't really know much. I mean, I think I can agree with that. Yeah.
All right, guys. We heard it here first. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Keep Talking 365, and these guys will definitely be back. We'll see you soon. All right, thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I came out.